What's up, everybody? We are basically welcoming you back to the rePORTER show, but this time we're coming from the baseball clubhouse. We got Coach Todd Weldon with us, joining us for this special edition. As you know, baseball just clinched the regular season 2025 championship, and now they're getting ready to head into the conference tournament. What that means for them is they get an automatic bid to the opening round of the national tournament. But of course, as you know, the job is not done. They still have some work to do in the conference tournament. And so we're looking forward to covering the first round of that here at home, and we'll get into that later on. I wanted to start off by first thanking you for joining us and allowing us to be in the clubhouse. It's a cool little feel, a different feel for us. But the first thing I wanted to ask you, of course, was just the most common question that you've probably already been asked. I know every coach expects to win, but at what point in the year for you were you really just thinking to yourself, okay, this team has a really big opportunity to win the regular season?
Yeah, I think we saw glimpses of that early on. We knew that we had a really talented team, and it was just a matter of them putting together and playing for the right reasons. I believe that the biggest obstacle that we've had to overcome as a program in recent years has just been the culture. And there were some things that we did throughout the academic year, especially in the fall, that I think really allowed these guys to come to know each other on a more personal level, and it's just showing up on the field. We've had a really talented team. JP, you were a part of a really talented team. I think for this group, not only are they talented, but it's not a situation where they're playing from selfish ambition. Like, they understand that there are things that are required to go out there and win baseball games, and they're playing for the brothers around them. And so we saw a little bit of that early on, and I would say probably that series against Our Lady of the Lake, it started to click a little bit. Granted, we've hit a couple of bumps in the road along the way, which any team does. But for this group, they just continue to persevere, and there was a lot of situations where we went down early in the game and never felt like we were out of it. I believe that our offense is really powerful, and they have the potential to put up a lot of runs. But as things started to click on the defensive part of the ball and the pitching staff, and we changed some things in how we were approaching coaching our pitchers and preparing them for the weekends, that I think really started to show up. And so I think that second series, I think we had a little bit of a humbling experience when we played Tabor here.
I was just about to ask you about that, actually.
I think that our guys came into it a little, I don't want to say overly confident, because you want your guys to be confident, but I don't think they effectively prepared to go out there and do what they are capable of doing. And so it showed up in a pretty rough weekend. We dropped 4 games to a team that's still a good baseball team, but it still shouldn't have dropped that many games.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, since you already brought it up for us, speaking of that weekend of Tabor, when you open up a season like that, it's never like, oh, this is not going to be good. Of course, it's just one series. But when you do have that type of opening to the season, is there something that sort of like made you be like, okay, what do we need to do from this point forward, or what went to your mind?
I think as a coaching staff, and even for these guys as a team, we got punched in the mouth a little bit, and that humbles you, and it gives you a different level of perspective, and it allows you to take a step back and evaluate how you're going about things. And we looked at the group as a whole and knew that they were really talented, and I think that what that allowed us to do is take a more holistic look at what we were doing in our weekly preparation and how we were approaching things. And one thing that Connor and I talked about, as Connor being our pitching coach, he and I just talked about, I think that these guys don't understand the importance of being on the edges. And so we got to figure out a way to go about preparing them to do that on the weekends. And so we went into scripted bullpens, and we've done some things throughout the week that I think have allowed these guys to show up on the weekend. And we've also, and you stepped out and shared some of this on one of your shows, I can't remember which one it was, about us looking at our pitching staff a little bit different, being more bold to step out of all that typical starter role, right? Yeah. And so we kind of shook things up a little bit, moved Juan Gill to the bullpen, moved Paz to the bullpen. Not to say that those guys aren't capable of giving us good starts, but we just wanted to put them in a different situation, see they handled it, and just worked. Yeah. It worked. So
it did work very well. What did you have?
So a flash forward to now, I guess my question is, I would say mid to late February is when winning the SAC really was on the horizon for you guys. You started to build a lead in the race for first place. And obviously it's easy to hear all the chatter about, man, we have a chance to do something special. How did you keep the guys locked in for this last, I would say, 3 or 4 weekends of baseball to finish a job and get win the championship?
And I think a lot of teams, when they get into situations like that, there's almost a possibility or the potential to look beyond that and look so far ahead that you lose sight of what you got right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were really intentional as a coaching staff at helping these guys to stay focused on this game matters, this weekend matters. You got to take it one game at a time. Just because we're playing Central Christian or College of the Ozarks or Oklahoma City and they're towards the bottom, doesn't mean the job's done. You got to approach them just like you're playing the best team in the country.
Yes, sir.
And so preparing in those ways, making sure that in those moments where you can sense there's a little bit of, they're not quite in it today, like having those hard conversations and us having to get a little emotional or a little animated or a little pumped up to get these guys back on track. And I think these guys would probably say that they'd appreciated that because as a season's long. Now, JP, you've been a part of it, man. Season can drag, and there's a point where it becomes a little bit of a grind. Yeah. And so through those moments, just helping these guys to focus on let's take care of today.
Yes, sir.
And then take it one day at a time and focus on the right now and focus on this pitch and let's just win one at a time and the rest take care of itself.
Yes,
so.
sir.
Yeah. Dad, you had something?
Yeah, you kind of mentioned earlier, the culture of the team and stuff like that. So how do you as a coach find balance between the hard work, grind, holding everybody accountable, but also, the fun, team chemistry, team bonding and stuff like that, and also player health as well throughout the, as you mentioned, like the long dragging season?
I think that with any successful team, there's a group of people that are just relational. And for these guys, is just getting to know them on a more personal level and them getting to know each other on a more personal level. And I think at that point, once they've established that relationship, either with their teammates or with their coaches, they are more willing to be honest about how they feel and emotional things that are taking place in life outside of baseball, right? I mean, you're all athletes, and so you understand that there's more than just what you do on the court. There's life stuff that happens, whether it be a girlfriend issue or a family issue, and so many of these guys have taken the time to come in and have conversations with the coach. Man, it's just been tough, and we as we get to know them on a personal level, we sense some of that, and we're able to have some of those conversations, and they feel that love, and they feel that relationship that's there, and it's made all the difference. And I think I go back to it, but these guys will even mention it. We took a kind of a leap of faith, not really a leap of faith. We just knew it'd be important. We went on a retreat in the fall, took these guys up to Glorieta, New Mexico, almost like Remember the Titans, if you ever seen that movie.
Yeah.
Got away from everything. We talked about a couple of different locations on where to do that. Floyd dated and a couple other places said, no, we need to get away, away.
Sure.
Right? Get into a different atmosphere, get into a little bit different scenery. And so that gave us the opportunity for these guys. Like, it's kind of funny to think about now, but that first night, these guys grabbed their pillows and we were having like this epic pillow fight. No joke. Like they're dragging people into the dark room and not knowing if they're going to come out, right? And so for these guys to just kind of see them connect and us coaches be real with them too, because I think that oftentimes, and there needs to be a little bit of a separation between the coaches and the players, right?
Sure.
But on the same note, like we're just as real as you are. Mm-hmm. We've lived life. We've been there. We've been a part of what you're dealing with, and so I think these guys come to appreciate that and love that, and that's been all the difference in transforming this culture, like the culture of the program, because these guys come from all over the world.
Yeah.
Dominican Republic and Australia and Venezuela and Japan, and so for them, even though they come from different backgrounds and different parts of the world and speak different languages, it's been really special to see them connect on a different level, right?
Yes,
and it's all built off of love.
Yes,
like
sir.
they love each other. There's no doubt about it. They love each other. They fight just like brothers, right? But at the end of the day, they do love each other. So
that's big. I think that creates a very, I guess, like easy approach to the game. I think a lot of times in baseball, when you're wound up in your mind, it makes it hard for you to play the game easy or be smooth on the field. And so I think that speaks to what you guys have accomplished, especially offensively, because, of course, I'm a stats guy. So looking at the stats this year, I've noticed that 8 out of 9 guys in that starting lineup are batting above 300 right now, and that's absurd. We haven't had that consistently a lot here in this program. And so what are some things, whether it be practice, whether it be your mental approach, what are some things that you think have helped these guys accomplish that feat through this end of the regular season?
yeah, I think Coach Cook does a really good job of keeping these guys focused on what's allowed them to be successful. We have an aware camera system that helps with a lot of that, so these guys have the opportunity to go in and see themselves be successful. But even for guys like Delvis and Felix and others that have had some bumps along the way, like for them to go in and reflect on, well, this is what I was doing in my swing that's allowed me to be successful, and Coach Cook having those conversations with those guys, and then them just to hear over and over again that, hey man, you're enough, you're good enough. Trust the brother in front of you, trust the brother behind you. You don't have to do it all yourself. And I think that's also been a big separator for this team. It's not any one guy that feels like that he's got to go out there and get the job done.
Yeah.
Like their at bats are more disciplined, their swings are better, because they know that if I don't swing at that pitcher's pitch and I just wait for mine and I take a walk here, all right, I guess the next guy can flat out hit up to the plate.
Yeah.
And I think that showed up. I mean, Cooper broke a school record for walks in a career. That's huge, right?
Yeah,
and so for guys like that to truly buy into that system of, I don't have to be selfish here. I'm not chasing selfish numbers. It's not about me. I can trust the guy in front of me. I'll trust the guy behind me. If I get my pitch, I'm going to get all over it.
Yeah.
If I don't, I'm going to take the walk, and I'm on base ready to score, right?
Sure.
And I trust the guys behind me to drive me in.
For sure.
And so that's been the biggest separator between the offense that these guys have went out there and done this year and years past, is just truly buying into that approach. And Coach Cook does a good job of talking to those guys through that.
Yes, sir. I guess a little bit more personal. How many years have you been here first?
It's my fourth year
Your fourth
as
year,
head
okay.
coach. Yes, sir.
So 4th year as head coach. You've been through the ups and downs in the past 4 years, safe to say. But how rewarding is it? I mean, do you pay attention to these kind of things as a, it's okay to be a little selfish here on camera, but do you pay attention to like the fact that it's your first time winning the SAC, which is a big, obviously huge accomplishment, not only for the program but for the university. How rewarding is that just for you personally?
Man, for me, and I say this from a humble place because I've been on the flip side of it, where as a professional athlete, I'm out there and it's about me and what
Yes,
can I
sir.
do to level up here, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the more time that you spend in that, the less joy that comes out, like true joy, right?
Mm-hmm.
God calls us to serve other people and love other people. And I think on the coaching end of it, that's been the most special thing for me, is to see these guys get to experience that moment where they dogpile on the field and they're going crazy. And
Yes, sir.
it's not about me. It's not about Coach Cook. It's not about Connor. We've been given the opportunity to be coaches here because it's an opportunity to help lead these young men into the men that God's calling them to be, and allow them to go out there and experience those things. Yeah, we put in some work to it. There's a lot of conversations I have, and we swing fungos and all that sort of thing. But these guys are the ones that are out there putting the work every day. They're the one having to get in there and push in the weight room. They're the one having to take care of their bodies and throw and hit and put in all those reps. And so for me, like, yeah, it's really cool to say that we've been the first coaching staff to have a conference championship, but there's a lot of other people and a lot of other players and coaches that have kind of set the foundation for that. I mean, the room that we sit in now, this wasn't here not too long ago, and that field out there wasn't there. So Coach Bass and all those coaches, Coach McMillan, who's pitchers up there at the wall, and all the players, I mean, JP and all the guys that have come through this program have really set the foundation for what these guys have come out here and had the opportunity to experience. And so, yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool to watch these guys go out there and be able to say that they're champions,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
That's super special, and I'm just grateful that I get to be a part of it,
Yes,
to
sir.
watch them have those moments together and battle through those tough moments, and just get to say that I was a Sooner Athletic Conference champion. And
Yeah.
I believe this. I believe that we're going to win the tournament, and I believe that we're going to win the World Series.
Yes,
so,
sir. Yes, sir.
And so for these guys to
Making
be
this
able
call,
to
y'all.
be able to say that is super special for me. And man, I'm just the one that pushes in the right direction and writes out the lineup, and hopefully I don't make some dumb decision that gets in the way, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
I hear you. Dave, you had one more question for him?
I mean, I guess it kind of goes right into this question, but winning the regular season in the SAC and stuff like that. What's your approach, and how do y'all, I guess, stay level-headed, not let it get to your head too much going into this postseason? You have a huge target on your back now, winning the SAC. So what's your approach going into this postseason?
Yeah, same thing. Same thing we've done all year long is continuing to focus on today. and not overlooking the next game that we get the opportunity to play. I think that these guys, I know that this group of young men set some goals for themselves personally, but as a team, when we were out there in Gloria, New Mexico, there were several things that they lined out that they wanted to accomplish as a team, and one of those was a conference championship. One of those were getting to play in the Open World Series. One of those was going to the World Series. One of those was winning 35 plus games. And so having those goals that they can continue to chase after and pursue will be really helpful for them as they continue to move forward. Even though there's this theoretical target on our back, like for us, it's just going out there and doing what we've done all year long. It don't matter to us.
Exactly.
Yeah, everybody else is the one that is chasing after something, trying to beat the big old bad giant, if you want to consider us that.
Yes,
but
sir.
these guys are really special, and they've done some special things already, and they're going to continue to. So,
Yes, sir.
That's right.
I got.
Go ahead. No, you
I
got
got
it,
one.
man.
So one last one from me. Obviously, this is your 4th year as a head coach, and you know it's about wins and losses to an extent. But I know you're a man of God, which, and of course, you're not ashamed to tell anybody about that. You're always at FCA speaking and other events as well. But what do you consider a successful season? Like really, truly, just in your mind, you know, whether it be we win this amount of games, like what is a successful season for you?
yeah, seeing these guys become the young men that God's calling them to be, like it makes me a little bit emotional to see what took place after the celebration. Like we didn't initiate them getting together and praying in center field like that. Like, for me, that was probably one of the most special moments that we've had all year long. To be standing over there in the dugout with the rest of these coaches and see our group of young men kneel down in a moment that they could have turned into us about us, right?
Yeah.
But they gave glory to God. And hear some of those conversations where we got guys that are wanting to get baptized and trying to get their family to church. Like we have a couple of guys that are married and have kids, and oftentimes, hey coach, what time's church tonight on a Wednesday? I want to take my family. Like those things are the eternal things. Those are things that matter most to me.
Yes, sir.
And I think that I believe this. God will honor you in that, and He'll place some things in your life and give you some things in your life that you're like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yes,
Like
sir.
winning a conference
Yes,
championship,
sir.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
But that stuff, there'll be a banner out
It's
here on the
temporary.
wall, and they'll get a cool little ring. But the most important thing is seeing these guys become the young men that God's calling them to be, and future husbands and fathers and all that sort of
Sir,
stuff.
that's
So,
special for sure.
you know, watching JP, man, behind the camera and doing all the cool things that he's doing, man, that's just super cool to me.
For sure.
Yeah, I think that was, like you said, it was nice to see. If you guys weren't at that game or if you weren't watching it on the stream, it's very easy to, when you win something like that, especially at the season that they've had, it's very easy to just celebrate, and just jump around. But like, they went to center field and they jumped around for a couple seconds, and then they immediately all knelt down and started praying. But to, like Coach said, to have that sort of mindset first is so difficult to have when you're playing a game that athletes play, because a lot of times it's always, like Coach said, it's about that moment that you're seeking for. You want to win the championship. You want to have this success. You want to have a big game. And when you have that moment, a lot of times the first thing you want to think about is just celebrating. But you got to celebrate the man that gave you the opportunity to do that in the first place. And so I think that's big, that the baseball team is allowing themselves to be led by God, and in that they're finding success. I wish we had more time to continue on this conversation, because these guys, it's exciting to talk about this team, especially just seeing some of the guys that I even played with that are on this team still, that are finding the success that they're having, and just seeing them do things that hasn't been done here in a long time. So, Coach, I want to thank you again for being here and taking some time with us. Yes, sir. And hopefully we can have another conversation after the conference
that's right.
tournament.
Plan for that.
Exactly. And so we'll see you guys same time next week.